Hey guys, Nate and Scott here with PlayYourCourt.com. Today we're going to show you 3 tips to help with your timing on your ground strokes.
All right, guys, today we're going to go over 3 very simple but super actionable tips to improve the timing on your ground strokes. This video is for players with a player court rating of 60 and below. If you're not in our community, it makes Nate cry at night, so I mean, just join. You're hurting his feelings. But anyway, moving on, these 3 tips. You want to get us started? What's tip number 1 here?
Tip number 1 is creating more space between you and the incoming ball. All right, so a lot of times when we're examining timing, we're really thinking about contact and we start getting a little bit technical. But this game is a sending and receiving sport, and this whole game is about giving yourself time and taking away time from the opponent. So if you're having a hard time with your timing, it's time to create space. It's time to get off the baseline and back it up.
I think this is a really good tip because I see a lot of coaches really sort of force you to press the baseline. They don't want you to be letting the ball come to you. But what we see a lot with our athletes, lower level players especially, is they're crowding the ball and then they're forced to back up. We're super inefficient backing up when we're hitting the ball. We'd much prefer you be taking steps towards the ball. It's going to be a lot easier to transfer your weight into the shot than it is backing up and trying to find that timing that way, right?
Yeah, and especially in the beginning, because I think when we are within the first year or 2 of playing the game, there's a lot of mishits. So we start fearing the short ball because, you know, you're not anticipating them to kind of happen. But we were made to move forward. We were made to run, right? So that should be the least of our worries. It's when somebody hits the ball heavy, right? So for you guys that are a little bit more advanced, this is going to be more of your concern. If they're hitting a bigger, faster ball, the only way to give yourself more time is to give yourself space. Should you be moving up into the court at some point? Yes. When there's an opening, when you have a weak ball, when you have an invite. But trying to be Andre Agassi and hold the line and take everything on the rise, that's really hard to do.
It's going to work out that well for you.
Really hard to do. So we're going to jump in a little demo mode here, and we're just going to show you exactly what we're talking about. Nothing earth-shattering. We're just going to show you the appropriate space and what this looks like when we allow ourselves time and we have the ability to get better contact out in front because of this timing.
All right, guys, so again, even if you're looking to crowd the baseline, take more balls on the rise, and take time away from your opponent, the correction I want you to make here is to start 2 or 3, maybe even 4 feet behind the baseline, and then move into that shot. What we see a lot of players do, and the mistake that they make, is they start here, and then when that ball pushes them back off the baseline, their contact point is rushed. They're hitting off their back foot. It's much more difficult, as Nate pointed out, to move back than it is to move forward. So even though my contact point is still going to take place here on the baseline, you're going to see me start back. And when I have a ball that I can move forward in and crowd the baseline, you're going to see me move into the ball to hit it. And then when Nate pushes me back off the baseline, I don't have to back up. I'm already in optimal position to play that ball. So let's take a look at that now. So the quick fix here, guys, as you can see, if I stand 2 or 3 feet behind the baseline, I have the option to move forward when Nate hits shorter, take the ball on the rise, and crowd that baseline if I'd like. And I'm also capable of defending heavy, deep balls that he hits without backing up. All right, guys, to quickly recap, the adjustment here is to start a little bit further off the baseline. And if you see the opportunity to work forward, then great. But at a less advanced level, you're not going to be playing up on the baseline. We want you to give yourself some more time, some more space to make contact with these balls. And if you see, a ball hit short, you can track forward and do the damage. But best case scenario, at your level, you're in a good position to never really be backed up. We know it's very difficult, much more difficult to hit off your back foot or moving backwards than it is moving forward towards the ball. So if you stay on your toes and stay just a little bit off the baseline, that's what we're looking for in terms of creating more space and cleaner contact. This scales all the way up to the pros. Think of Nadal. Nadal's not standing right on the baseline, crowding the baseline. He's starting further back and allowing his opponent to give him some guidance as to what he should do with those feet, right?
100%. And then you'll see, like, especially in the hard courts, as he gets confidence, he'll start moving forward. He'll start holding the line. It's Fed and Agassi, they're the anomalies where, they're just always on the line. They're always looking to take timing away. Also happen to be two of the professionals with the best timing.
The best players in the world.
Yeah,
also.
So all of us, we need to be playing off the line, and then if we're looking for the opportunity to be more aggressive, or our timing is there to move forward. But let's start 3 or 4 feet behind the baseline for a reference point. All right, guys, so the next little tip that we're talking about here is about racket prep, all right? So you've given yourself more space, you've given yourself time to react, not just with your feet, but now we're going to talk about the hands. And this is about the unit turn. And what we want to debunk here is this little myth about getting the racket back versus the unit turn. We're going to jump into demo mode, and I'm going to talk you through what the difference is now. Okay guys, so what we're talking about is the unit turn, and it's just so important for timing. And what we really want to be doing is, before the ball bounces on our side, as we are ready to receive the ball, we're kind of getting into a half swing, all right? And this is the unit turn. The important thing here is the shoulder rotation, the hip rotation. So when we started this, what I was saying is kind of to debunk the myth of the racket take back. I don't know that that's necessarily the best way to coin what we're doing, because what this suggests is what we're seeing is the racket just taking back here, and this leads to more of a disjointed swing. We're not getting this coil. All right, so we're going to take a look at that right now. I'm just going to show you what that looks like as far as it being disjointed and with just the racket take back versus the unit turn. So guys, you'll see my racket back before the bounce, and it's not bad, but it's not ensuring that I'm getting my shoulders turned or my hips coiled. So it's like I can kind of make it work just through pretty solid contact, but it's not the same as the unit turn. So racket back, now you can see I'm kind of disjointed with that left hand, and that gets a little bit funky. So the unit turn that we're talking about is before the ball bounces. You can still tell like I've got plenty of space from the baseline from tip number one. I'm not crowding. From here, I'm going to go unit turn, and it's kind of like this half swing so that there's more of a coil, more of a load, and more power through this shot. All right, guys, so there we've focused on the unit turn, all right? Not the racket take back. We don't want that disjointed swing, but the unit turn where we're getting the shoulders back. And now the nice thing is I'm halfway done with the stroke, right? So whether the ball has some, crazy spin and I get something kind of wonky, I'm able to adjust because the swing is already back. I've already given myself space, all right? And then with some additional footwork, I can find that spacing and complete the swing. What ends up happening is, like, if you start taking the racket back a lot like what we saw through the 60s, 70s, it's that we're just not getting the same power. We're not getting this same coil, and it doesn't have a lot of tempo to it. And this tempo is really important when it comes to rhythm. All right, and that's what when we're having a good day on court, that's what we have found. We have found rhythm, timing and tempo and rhythm. All right, so now we're going to talk about tip number 3, and this is loading with the bounce of the ball. So with loading with the bounce of the ball, what we're talking about is when we're bending our knees. Okay, we know that we have to bend at the knees, really load the lower body on every single shot. The problem is that we don't necessarily know when to bend. All right, so some of us were bending really early and the trajectory of the ball changes, and then we're stuck because once we load, you're really grounding in, you're getting that solid foundation, and there's no time for adjustments. Some of us are bending late, right? So all of a sudden the ball's coming in, and it's like last second and you're trying to load, and then what ends up happening is we jump, right? We're jumping because as we're loading late and we're trying to create space, that jump is trying to create space, and as a result, we have poor contact. All right, so when we're going to bend, as the ball approaches and it hits the ground, I'm gonna load. All right, and what I want you to notice with this load is I step out, my toe is parallel with the baseline. All right, and this is more of my semi-open stance, semi-open stance. And then as far as going forward, I'm just gonna step in with the left foot, but I'm gonna time this load depending on what level player I am. If I'm just kind of getting started, if I'm year 2 or 3 of playing the game, I'm gonna let the ball descend. So I've given myself space, and as the ball starts to descend, I'll bend with it, and then I'm gonna rise up with the ball. All right, so the ball is falling, right, because it's descending now. It's already bounced from the ground, it's falling. I bend, and then I rise up with the ball. All right, and that's for you guys that are still trying to figure out the timing. For you guys that are more advanced, all right, what's gonna happen is as the ball bounces, I'm gonna load, because now I'm gonna take the ball a little bit earlier. I'm gonna drive through it, all right? So I'm just timing my load, the bending, a bit early. We're gonna take a look at both of the correct versions now. So guys, early on, what we're gonna try to find is when to time the bend. And what you can see here is the ball bounces as it ascends and then descends. I'm bending and lifting up with the ball, right? So it's dropping, I've got my load, pushing through the ground, and then up the ball. I got my trusty continental grip here, all right? And that is going to be what we want to focus on in the beginning, right? Some of you guys have only been playing a year or two. It's like, when are we bending, right? So that's a good way to kind of decipher it. The ball has bounced, it's starting to descend, you're gonna bend, and then you're gonna lift with the ball. Kind of an old school method, but I think it's really, really useful because it helps us with this timing tempo. All right, so the more advanced way, now you guys have been playing a while, you're looking to be more offensive. I'm gonna load before the ball has bounced because I'm looking to be way more aggressive. Okay guys, so we went over those 3 tips to help with your timing, your tempo, to get better rhythm in your matches. All right, and the first one, just more space. Get off the baseline 3 or 4 feet, create space. If you get a short ball, it's always easy to move forward. That's how we were built. Tip number 2, all right, and this is prepping the racket, all right, the unit turn, not just the racket take back. A lot of us are taking the racket back. It's not the same. We want a unit turn, and we really want it before the ball bounces on our side of the court. And the final one is loading with the bounce of the ball, all right? So for you guys that are in the beginning stages, you know, and the ball's moving relatively slow, you get a lot of these like rainbow arcs, you can go ahead and bend, you can load as that ball descends and then rise with the ball. For you guys that are more advanced and you're looking to take the ball early, especially if you're driving, this is where we wanna load a little bit before the bounce, get up to that ball load just before the bounce so that we can explode, that load, explode, you know, really go through that ball as it's ascending.
Nate, amazing instruction, my man. Guys, as always, Nate and I just want to help you improve your game, but the bottom line is we need to know exactly what your skill level is to give you the coaching that you need. YouTube's great, but a lot of times you're watching generic tips that apply to a wide range of players, and sometimes you're watching generic tips that just aren't for you. A beginner doesn't need the same instruction as a Division I college tennis player. This is why we created the Play Your Court membership. If you click the button or the link below, answer some questions for Nate and I about your game, jump inside the community. We're going to send you custom video coaching on the specific things you need to improve your game, and not only that, we're going to pair you with local players at your exact same skill level for practice and matches. Click the button or the link below, jump inside the community, and we'll see you in there soon.